I must have spent hours looking for hidden entrances. Drove my brother Henry mad."
"Not that that ever stopped you,"
said Brian solemnly. Emma grinned, not even a little bit. Brian ran the village garage and taxi service, and was a specialist in vintage cars. He was also cheerful, handsome, and the tiniest bit cheeky. The combination filled Emma with the sort of warmth and fluffy feeling she hadn't known in a very long time.
"As far as I know, the tunnel is real," he told her. "My dad remembers it from when he was a boy. He said that Sam's dad said it had been used by smuggling gangs since before the Battle of Trevena. Only Sam's mum made them brick it up, because it wasn't stable and she was afraid for the kids."
"Can't wait to see what it's like," said Emma. She might have gone from being a banker to being a baker, but she had never shed her childhood love for mysteries and the dramatic.
"Going to take a chance with the betting pool, then?"
Brian nodded toward the slate hanging on the wall beside the bar. Once it had been used to keep track of the patrons' bar tabs. Today, though, it had been commandeered for taking bets on what would be found once the Greenlaws broke through the tunnel entrance. Emma surveyed the list of current guesses with a critical eye. People were clearly treating the question with all the seriousness it deserved. The most popular choices seemed to be nothing, black market whiskey, of course, a dead body, ditto, Father Christmas, the crown jewels, and a cask of Amontillado. "Put me down for the crown jewels." Emma fished a couple of pounds out of her shoulder bag. The money was going into a big jar beside the register. A notice said 15% would be donated to the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
"Will do. Get you a cider, too,"
suggested Brian. "A small one, thanks." The Roundhead cider was positively lethal. Brian gave Emma a wink and headed over to the bar. Oliver left off investigating the shoes of the other guests and trotted after Brian. As soon as they both reached the bar, the corgi sat up on his haunches expectantly. Brian laughed and obligingly fed him a biscuit from the jar Liza kept for her four-legged patrons. Oliver crunched and woofed and scampered back to Emma, where she was setting up her cake stands.
"Brian is an excellent and thoughtful human."
"As it happens, I agree with you." Emma snapped open the lids on her cupcake carriers. She wasn't worried about being overheard talking with her dog just now. The room was filled with plenty of chatter.
"He's very understanding about snacks."
Oliver wagged his entire bottom.
"Those smell like good snacks. Are they, Emma?"
He bounced eagerly, trying to get his forepaws up on the edge of the table. "Down you," ordered Emma. "We don't want to get barred because you're pinching food off the table." Oliver ducked his head, chagrined. At the same time, he gave her an extra optimistic wag. Emma shook her head. Realizing he wasn't getting anywhere this time, Oliver ducked under the table in case anyone had carelessly dropped anything important, like crumbs or a splash of coleslaw. Emma laughed again and turned her attention to the important business of arranging her cupcakes on the tiered stand. She'd moved to Trevena to realize the dream of running her own tea shop. So when Liza had asked for some baked treats for the party, Emma had been happy to oblige. In fact, she'd obliged with 3 different kinds. The first was based on her apple cake. It used the Roundhead cider in its mixture, along with a blend of Bramley and Granny Smith apples. The second was a ginger malt sponge with a lemon curd centre. Finally, there was a rich chocolate sponge with raspberry icing. "Hello, Emma!" Jenny Knowles, who had been Emma's first friend in Trevena, came up and gave her a one-armed hug. "Hello, Jenny. I wasn't sure we'd see you tonight. Martin and Josh threatened to go on strike if I didn't get out for the evening." Jenny smiled sheepishly and took a swallow of her pale ale. Like Emma, Jenny was a short, round woman of a certain age, but where Emma was best described as a faded ginger, Jenny had blonde hair and blue eyes and plenty of laugh lines around her broad mouth. Her summer tan had just begun to fade, returning her skin to what Jenny referred to as its usual combination of pink and pale. Jenny ran Trevena's chip shop, the Town Friar.